continent. Hello, I'm Alison Lagrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global South. Join me every weekday live on First Post. Hello and welcome to First Post Africa, where we get you the top stories from the continent and from across the world. I'm Alison Lagrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. First, let's take a look at the headlines. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky meets UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer in London on the eve of a key summit between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in Alaska, from which Kiev and its European allies have been excluded. Israeli Finance Minister approves plans to build over 3,000 homes in a controversial West Bank settlement project, a move he says will prevent the creation of a Palestinian state. At least 33 killed in India as a massive cloudburst hits Jammu and Kashmir's Kishtwar district along a pilgrimage route. Rescue and search operations are underway. At least 27 migrants have died after two boats capsized while attempting to cross the Mediterranean Sea from Libya to Italy, with around 60 survivors rescued, while the search for others continues. And a South African court overturns a decision granting French energy giant Total Energies environmental authorization to explore for oil off the country's west coast. Hello and welcome. Our top focus is on Nigeria. Abuja is set for a major defense upgrade with a potential arms deal with the United States. The U.S. State Department has approved the proposed sale of munitions and precision-guided bombers to Nigeria worth $346 million. The deal includes 1,500-pound bombs, laser-guided kits, high-tech fuses, more than 5,000 precision-guided rockets. It also includes bomb components, impulse cartridges, high-explosive and practice rockets, along with U.S. government and contractor-provided technical engineering and logistics support. The contracts will be executed by Lockheed Martin, RTX Missiles Defence, and the BAE Systems. The U.S. has been for a long time military partner of Nigeria, but the relationship deepened after 2009 when the terror group Boko Haram launched its deadly insurgency in northeast Nigeria. The decades-long conflict has killed tens of thousands, displaced millions, and has caused billions of dollars in damage. The U.S. has provided training, intelligence and equipment to help Nigeria combat Boko Haram, as well as Islamic State West Africa province and rampant banditry. Now, Nigeria's military says it has killed 592 terrorists in the northeastern state of Borno in the past 8 months, after stepping up airstrikes in a region hit by years of violence. However, weapons sales to Nigeria have long been a subject of U.S. debate due to human rights concerns, particularly over accidental bombings of civilians. Under Barack Obama, Washington blocked a sale of U.S.-made Cobra helicopters by Israel to Nigeria over human rights abuses. Just before the end of the term, Obama's administration also froze a deal for attack helicopters after the Nigerian Air Force mistakenly bombed a refugee camp in Borno State, killing over 100 civilians. However, in 2017, Donald Trump, in his first term, revived the deal. In 2021, under Joe Biden, US lawmakers placed an informal hold on an $875 million sale of attack helicopters and precision weapons over human rights concerns. But in 2022, the Biden administration moved forward with nearly $1 billion in sales. Now, in his second term, President Donald Trump seems to be continuing to advance the relationship with Nigeria, a partnership that he had earlier described as crucial for security, counterterrorism, and regional stability. But accidental bombings by Nigeria's military have not stopped. This year alone, there have been at least 3 such incidents. In January, Nigeria military killed 16 civilians in an airstrike mistake. In February as well, the government airstrikes targeting rebels in Nigeria's northwest killed several, though the number of casualties was not disclosed. And in June, about 20 people were killed in Zamfara. Now, while Washington sees Abuja as a crucial partner against terrorism and regional instability, civilian casualties from Nigeria's own military operations continue to cast a long shadow over this partnership. Now, will the Nigerian military improve its precision and accountability? And while the Trump administration strengthens defense ties with one African powerhouse, its relations in all major areas are worsening with another, as South Africa sees ties with the United States plunge to their lowest point. It is closing ranks with Washington's rival, Iran. Now, Iran hosted South Africa's military chief this week. Defense Force Chief General Radzani Mapwanya had met with the Iranian Army Chief, Major General Amir Hatami. Now, during the high-level talks, both generals pledged deeper cooperation in defense and strategic affairs. But the discussions didn't end there. They also ventured into political territory. Now, as reported by the Iranian media, the generals declared a shared opposition to what they called global arrogance and colonial approaches. The South African Army Chief said Pretoria and Tehran shared common goals, adding that they stand alongside the oppressed and defenseless people of the world. He reiterated South Africa's genocide case against Israel, saying those responsible for genocide must be held accountable. The Army Chief stressed that his visit to Iran carries a political message, calling it the best possible time to express our heartfelt sentiments to the people of Iran. The timing is indeed crucial. His visit to Tehran comes as South Africa's relations with the US are at an all-time low. President Trump has multiple disputes with Pretoria, including its stance against Israel. But the biggest flashpoint is the accusations of discrimination against South Africa's white minority. This week, the administration released a human rights report claiming conditions in South Africa significantly worsened in 2024, a claim that Pretoria has rejected. South Africa is also seeking to negotiate a new trade deal with Washington after Trump imposed a 30% tariff, the highest in Africa. But despite the pileup of issues, South Africa has distanced itself from its own army chief's comments. South Africa's Ministry of International Relations and Cooperation said the general's remarks should not be seen as official government policy and reminded that foreign policy is implemented by the presidency. This clarification comes as the comments have also triggered domestic backlash. The Democratic Alliance, South Africa's second largest party and a coalition partner in President Cyril Ramaphosa's ANC-led government, has strongly condemned the remarks. In a statement, the DA said the army chief used an official visit to Tehran to engage in blatant political diplomacy far outside his constitutional and professional mandate. The party has long supported strong ties with the West, and foreign policy remains a contentious issue with Ramaphosa's ANC. So for Pretoria, countering Washington's accusations, trying to mend strained ties, and addressing criticism from domestic political partners all now sit at the heart of a complex diplomatic balancing act. And moving on to North Africa now, where Morocco is battling a major forest fire in its north. At least 8 aircraft and 450 personnel have been deployed to fight the fire that has devastated around 500 hectares of forests and fields. Morocco's forest agency has said that this is the largest fire of the year, with an exceptional spread of flames due to the rugged terrain and strong winds. The authorities say though the fire is now mostly under control, they are still fighting to extinguish it.
There is only one remaining outbreak at the provincial level. We are currently tackling it. There are ground teams made up of different units, but there is also considerable support from 3 Canadair aircraft and 4 Royal Canadian Mounted Police Turbo Thrush aircraft, as well as Canadair aircraft from the Canadian Air Force. The current situation is improving. We hope to contain the fire as soon as possible.
La situation actuelle est en bonne évolution. Espérons bien de circonscrire ce feu dont...
In parts of the Chefchaouen region, which is home to more than 400,000 people, the fire approached houses, petrol pumps, and the center of the town of Derdara. Now, residents of hilltop villages armed with buckets were seen assisting the firefighters. Firefighting operations near the tourist city of Chefchaouen have succeeded in controlling 3 of the 4 main hotspots. However, reports say that hot and dry winds were still fanning the embers near the city. A separate fire near the city of Chefchaouen was also brought under control on Wednesday.
Like other Mediterranean countries, Morocco has experienced a fire in the province of Chefchaouen, a fire that can be described as significant in comparison to other fires. We have seen this year, where the areas affected were very, very limited. This fire burned through nearly 500 hectares of forest, making it the largest fire of the year.
Cet incendie a parcouru pratiquement 500 hectares de forêt, donc ce qui peut être considéré comme le plus grand incendie de cette année.
Authorities have opened an investigation to determine the cause of the fire. Morocco, as with much of Western and Southern Europe, has been gripped by intense heat waves this summer, compounded by strong, hot desert winds from the Sahara. According to the drought index of the EU's Copernicus satellite monitoring program, the fire danger across the entire Mediterranean basin is rated extreme to very extreme from the 11th to the 17th of August, with particularly high risk in northern Morocco. The trigger? Climate change. Extreme heat, worsened by climate change, has led to increasingly frequent forest fires. Rising temperatures turn dry fields and forests into a tinderbox, where even a small spark can ignite massive blazes. Prolonged heat waves, drier landscapes, and more unpredictable weather, including stronger winds, together have intensified the extreme fire weather, especially in North Africa and Southern Europe. While authorities fight fires in North Morocco, there's a bigger battle that the world currently faces. That battle against climate change. And on to our final story for today. Malawi has joined the Dollar Billionaire Club, and all thanks to one man. He's turned ambition into fortune. Managed to put his country on the global wealth map. It's a new chapter for Malawi, a landlocked country not known for creating billion-dollar fortunes. But now you can say it has changed. Meet Tom Mpangijira. He's a banker, entrepreneur, and now the richest citizen of the Southeast African nation. He is the country's first dollar billionaire. His assets are now more than $1 billion. How did he do this? Now, it was a paper trail of shares and a big play across the border. First, the ownership chain. At the center of Tom Mpangira's wealth is the FDH Bank Limited. It is a leading commercial bank headquartered in Malawi's business hub in a place called Blantyre. It serves small farmers, big businesses, and also known for pushing digital banking services. So this bank plays a central role. Mpangira holds a big stake in the FDH, but he doesn't own it directly. He holds the stake through an investment firm. Now, in 2024, FDH Bank shares shot up 365%. The bank's performance was exceptionally strong. Customer deposits nearly doubled, profits doubled, and shareholders pocketed over $20 million. This rally pushed the bank's market value, and it hit $2 billion. And Tom Mpangira's 40% stake, it is now over a record-breaking $1.1 billion. Now, the FDH Bank is also expanding beyond Malawi. It is set to buy a 99.9% stake in the EcoBank Mozambique, a deal that will give it a strong footprint. So Mpangira is a milestone. It's the kind of growth story that's worth remembering. It can rewrite Malawi's place in Africa, a continent that's seeing a billionaire boom, a club growing faster than ever. But there's something beneath that shiny boom, a harsh reality that's hiding, one that millions in Africa know all too well. There are 22 billionaires in Africa. Just 4 of Africa's billionaires hold a combined value of over $57 billion. And here's the shocker. That is more than what some 750 million Africans own put together. This is a snapshot of the inequality and the widening financial gap. And here's another data point that's worth mentioning. Africa's top 5% controls about $4 trillion in wealth. It's double than the assets the rest of the 95% owns combined. Take Aliko Dangote in Nigeria. He is Africa's richest man. His fortune is built on cement, sugar, and government deals. Or South African's Johan Rupert, a luxury tycoon. His empire grew through decades of apartheid-era advantages. These stories show how wealth grows at the top faster than opportunities trickle down. Mpangira's rise is a proof that Africa's billionaire boom is real. But so is the question, who gets left behind when the gap keeps growing? And that's it on the show for today. We will see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. I'm Alison LaGrange, and you are watching First Post. In the next few minutes, we get the top 40 updates from around the world.